Middle school has some of the most interesting people you'd ever meet. There's always that one kid who lives like they're in prison, like it's Friday, and you ask them if they want to hang out, but they can't since they're stuck in solitary confinement for talking back to their parents 6 months ago. Like bro's parents are so strict, he's not allowed to breathe without their permission. And I honestly feel bad. Bro has to leave from one prison to another every day. And when you ask them, what do they do when they go home? They'll be like, I study. And you're like, anything else? No, not really. Like, do you even get to have fun? Fun? I have fun. So what do? I helped Mr. West grade the algebra exam last week. Like, honestly, free my boy Kenny. He does not deserve this. And you can't forget the hood classic, the Rizzless. And I swear, bro, those middle school hormones got some of these kids acting goofy. Like, I had this class with this kid named Fred, and he was so down bad for this girl, Jamie, who was the most popular girl in school. So one day he decided he would try to confess his feelings for her by giving her his limited edition Harry Potter TCG cards. And like, nobody knew about this till all of a sudden, 2 periods later, in the middle of free play during gym class, there was Harry Potter cards flying everywhere. Meanwhile, bro was just straight up flabbergasted. Like, if there's one thing that doesn't change in life starting from middle school, it's these devastating rejections. Bro was in a coma for a week, but if you want beef, the beef fiends got you covered. These middle school hormones, besides making kids down bad for each other, it inspires them to slapbox. And middle school beef has got to be the goofiest thing that you'd ever see. Some of the kids in my school was beefing with other kids, all because we had different class numbers. Like, you from 746 and not 745? Nah, man, pull up. Fred from earlier was also a severe beef fiend, as every single week, especially during senior year, he and the others turned the hallway into their own personal boxing ring. Bros were thinking that they looked like Mike Tyson and Rocky, but instead looked like Tom and Jerry. As we weren't watching a fight, we were watching a comedy. This next one you can't miss. The Giant. Like, you'll be walking in the hallway and you'll see a bunch of kids that look like they just came out of the daycare, and following behind them is their dad. Puberty hit these kids harder than a plane during summer vacation, as they go from these sweet little squeakers to having deeper voices than most of the teachers. Like, some of these kids shouldn't even be in middle school, but out there playing in the NBA. And it only gets worse in gym class, as teachers will make us play games like basketball and will look us straight in the eyes before claiming that the teams are fair. Yet we're literally playing against Yao Ming. Meanwhile, we're fighting for our lives, trying not to embarrass ourselves in front of our whole grade. Then we got the menaces of the hallways, the kids that love running in them. Like, these types of kids you'll have to encounter have to be some of the most annoying kids in middle school, as they need to terrorize everyone in the hallway, as everyone else tries to avoid getting ran over in one of their numerous races. Like, how are you that hyped to go to your next prison cell, dog? And this kid definitely wasn't me. Okay, fine, it was. There was this one time, me and a good friend of mine, Marcus, were racing to get to our 7th period history class, and I was ahead, going through the 2 midsection hallway doors, and I came up with a devious idea. I tried slamming it from behind me, trying to fake him out so he would stop running, but after I did that and ran off, he went through the opposite door, while an unsuspecting girl was coming out of her class that was right beside the door that I slammed, and she never saw it coming and got KO'd instantly. Marcus still tells me till this day that he remembers the bonk sound the girl made when she slammed into the door, and surprisingly, neither of us got in trouble, partly because we were just gone. But now we have the fan favorite, the class clown. And I may upset many of you when I say this, but I believe class clowns peaked in middle school, because the amount of stuff they were able to get away with would not be possible in high school. These class clowns in my middle school, one time when my English teacher wasn't looking, grabbed one of her huge textbooks and straight up chugged it out of the window in the middle of class and acted like nothing happened. And our teacher looked genuinely confused on why half the class devolved into anarchy. They even set up a secret game of hide and seek for the guys in our class to play in the auditorium while we were supposed to be in drama class, which got busted halfway through by the principal. And a few of us, including me, barely managed to escape them catching us. Like, class clowns were that unhinged. Later in the year, in that very same drama class, our teacher was talking about his wife's baking, and no lie, this little menace right here said to his face, "I'd like to eat your wife's cookies." Bro got Thanos snapped to the principal's office instantly. Like, how do you have the balls to say that to a teacher's face? You wouldn't see that in high school. But I think we've all hated this next one, the elitist. The kids that act like their interests and choices are better than everyone else's. So when they see you existing, they try to make you feel bad. Like, you could be talking about how much you love watching anime with your friends, and they'll be like, "You watch anime? Aren't cartoons for little babies?" Like, why are you trying to start beef? And I can't forget the situation that happened to me during 7th grade. I went to tutoring during lunch because I needed help in math, while the smartest kids in our school was there. And the teacher had asked me to give the hardest question I could think of, and I said 9,999 times 1,000. While a girl from the top class, that we'll call Kaylee, said, "Oh, that's easy, just add the zeros." But at the time, I didn't know that, and she made me look goofy in front of everyone in the classroom. Like, bro, this is why I don't raise my hand to answer any problems in class. But these next kids have to be the worst in middle school, the menaces, as whenever a menace is around, you know chaos will follow them, from causing food fights during lunch to ruining your group projects with their antics. And you better hope they don't start beef with a teacher. You don't know how many times that after the menaces have had beef sessions with teachers, they decided to keep us all back for detention. From the outside, you think all of us were causing the chaos, but it was only them. And we'd always hear the same speech of, "In my 25 years of teaching, this has to be the worst class." Like, bro, what did we even do to you? At least Mr. C doesn't give those speeches. Like, these are the kids that have me examining everyone who comes into school on a given day. Because if that kid comes, I'm going to be stuck in after school prison again. You'll be guaranteed to see this next type, the door top slappers. And everyone has tried this at least once. The kids that as soon as they reach middle school are now tall enough that when they jump, they can hit the top of the door. And when this happens, it becomes their entire personality. As every new door they see, they must hit it, acting like they're Kobe about to deliver their best dunk of a lifetime. Then we got the pressure point attackers. And let me tell you, I was not ready for these kids. As one day you could be sitting in your English class, then all of a sudden, a kid sneaks up behind you and absolutely destroys your nervous system for a quick second. And now all of a sudden, you're trapped in a pressure point triad. Everyone is trying to get each other. And the moment you try to relax as class begins, you get shanked. Then we got the teachers' pets themselves, the try-hard nerds. And these are the same kids from earlier who made me feel embarrassed to ask questions from my tutoring session during lunch. So they never had a really good reputation from the rest of the school to begin with. But you'd never know how insane some of these kids are until you have them in your class. This girl we'll call Jennifer transferred from the top class in our school to my class for the 8th grade and was sure she was going to have an easy time, having the best grades of the entire class. But she wasn't expecting this one thing to stop her. Me. I decided to do the silly and have some casual payback by completely trolling her on every work we received. If she had a 90 on our history test, I'd always find a way to get a 95, and this went on for the entire year. It got to a point where she was having meltdowns when we were going over answers for our tests, while the other kids were just confused watching her, and I sat there like, is there a problem? What did you think of the types of kids in middle school? Any did I miss? And what do you like to see next? Consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time in the sanctuary.